Ok, so now we're live on YouTube. Estamos aqui ao vivo no nosso canal do YouTube. Vou explicar um pouquinho sobre a TALKNTALK antes de a gente começar. Como vocês já sabem, nós somos uma plataforma de conversação, onde vocês podem agendar imersões em vários idiomas e vir aqui conversar. Today we're speaking in English about school subjects. So let's start. First question is, which school subject did you enjoy the most during your time in school and why? In my case, you may think it was English, but it wasn't. It was mathematics, most geometry. I really like geometry, and I was good at it. And then when I got to college, I saw that I wasn't. I was only good in school. So it was geometry, my favorite school subject. What about you, Isla? Which school subject did you enjoy the most during your time in school?
So in my case, I like it to study biology and chemistry. I thought it's a very interesting subject, and I don't know. I think because I had the facility to understand, maybe, and I thought interesting about the some subject about the animals and reproduction and chemistry. I think some I don't know formulas, and I could pay attention better about some situation at my home about to I don't know, fenômenos químicos. And I appreciated this. Yeah.
Perfect.
And that's it.
And it's nothing related to what you do now, right? You were a lawyer and then you study law and then you liked biology.
But I changed my area because I failed in my first option, and because my first I don't know, in that moment we called vestibular, and I failed because I want to be a doctor, but I failed, and I gave up, and I decided to change.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So your first option was related to that, right?
Yeah.
Makes sense. Okay. Anyway, Diana, which school subject did you enjoy the most during your time in school?
For me, it's physical education, math. And even then, because it's fun, physical education is fun, né? It didn't have a lot of conteúdo for copy, subscribe, então.
Perfect. I used to hate physical education. Eu detestava. Because I didn't like to sweat and then go back to the classroom. Suava, lavaçado.
I like it.
I hate it.
Run ainda, como que fala quadra?
Court.
It was very fun. For me and my friend, nossa, aqui a gente parava para ir, era um momento de diversão pra gente.
It didn't seem like a class, right? Nem parecia uma aula. It was just like break time, era recreio, né? Perfect. And you, Hugo, which school subject did you enjoy the most during your time in school? Was it geography?
No, it wasn't geography. I liked because the geography professor is a really nice person, so we like that. But it's physics and mathematics. I really like the hard science in the school, the solve problem, and the physics apply and solve problems. So geography is more when I go to cursinho, né? When I go, I prestei vestibular for biology in the first year. I don't pass, and the second year I passed in geography. And it's uma escolha acertada.
Mm-hmm. So like your first option was biology, what you told us that you like until today, right? But okay, so I can see you and Ayla have a lot in common, né? Os dois têm muito em comum aí, biology. I didn't like biology. I liked a lot of subjects, but chemistry and biology I hated.
No,
I liked
no.
physics, I liked physics and mathematics, but biology eu era uma negação, gente. I was terrible. I always passed with like 60 points. 60 pontos eu passava. Na média, eu era terrível. I hated. But it's interesting. Indeed, it's interesting. So let's go to question number 2. Can you recall a specific moment or experience in a school subject that had a significant impact on you? What was it and how did it shape your perspective? So like, I created this question because of my experience. I really like human science. And then there were some moments in my history or geography class that my teacher associated the past with the present. So I really liked when he said, this happened like in 1880 and nowadays it still happened. So I really liked that. And those were moments that I remember until today when he associated, it could be like politics decisions or I don't know, anything. I really liked that. And you, Oriana, can you remember a specific moment or experience that had a significant impact on you related to school subjects?
I'm trying to remember, but when eu precisei fazer uma apresentação, na verdade a gente não tinha, desculpa, vou ter que falar em português, porque eu não sei como falar todas as palavras, para não ficar misturando. Logo quando a gente começou a apresentar, a gente entra no ginásio, né? A gente começa a fazer a apresentação, ter que ir lá na frente, falar em público, todas essas coisas aí. Eu era muito tímida, não era igual hoje que eu falo pelos cotovelos. A primeira apresentação que eu tive que fazer ficou muito gravado, porque pela timidez eu tive que estudar muito, né? Study a lot. Então, aí, depois daí eu consegui ver que quando a gente só tem medo quando a gente não sabe. Quando a gente sabe, flui, né? Então, eu tive que estudar muito aquele conteúdo. Teve uma apresentação que a gente fez de matemática, mas teve uma apresentação que a gente fez de geografia. Eu não gostava de geografia, gente. Eu achava que gostava de geografia até a 7ª série. Quando chegou na 7ª série, eu descobri que eu odiava a geografia justamente por causa de um seminário que eu tive que fazer. E era um assunto horrível na época, muito difícil. Então, aí, foi um momento... Deixa eu ler aqui a pergunta.
Isso, a specific moment when you were presenting a project. Estava apresentando um seminário e você ficou traumatizada, né?
Eu fiquei traumatizada, mas ao mesmo tempo eu descobri que era algo bom, porque eu tinha que me esforçar, aprender mais, chegando lá na frente não era aquele bicho de 7 cabeças. Mais tranquilo quando a gente começa a falar, apresentar.
That's true.
Você tem segurança. Na verdade, conhecimento traz, né, segurança.
That's true. And I remember that when I was in school, I used to love to do presentations. Nossa, eu adorava. Because I prefer to present than to do tests. Eu preferia apresentar do que fazer prova, né? Because I got too nervous. And then I prefer to like do a test, um trabalho, uma coisa assim. It was really good for me. I used to trabalhar. I talked a lot.
No 2º grau, eu comecei a preferir apresentar do que prova. Eu já estava acostumada, mas antes, não.
Yeah, we always get a little bit nervous, that's true. And you, Hugo, can you remember specific moments that had a significant impact on you?
No, I try to remember when the Oriana talked, but I think it's the cursinho, as prep school cursinho. When I decide to prestar vestibular para geografia, because most of the topics is geopolitics, so I really like the discussion. So when I go to, I think it's that moment and I understand or try to understand how the words work. So I really like it. But when I go to universities, o ensino de geopolítica é totalmente diferente. So eu caí no conto da sereia, assim.
it's always like that. The view that we have in school is completely different from college. I can say that now because I'm studying languages, right? Portuguese and English. And the Portuguese that I studied in school is completely different than the one that I need to know in college, and English too. So it's totally different. And we have a lot of different points of views, né, in college. So each teacher says something. Cada professor fala trem na faculdade. É uma loucura, gente. It's a craziness.
Na geografia tem geografia política e geopolítica, né? Você só descobre isso depois, as diferenças.
Really? They are different things? I didn't know that. I thought they were the same. Because in school they say it's the same, né? Geopolítica e geografia política, né?
Geopolítica mais o contexto atual, né? Geografia política é o histórico, a história, o contexto territorial, então, enfim. Lá, pensando no Oriente Médio, geopolítica é o que acontece hoje, geografia política é o histórico da formação, né? Lá. É meio confuso, mas...
No, makes sense. It makes sense. Perfect. Okay, nice. And you, Ayla, can you remember a specific moment or experience that had a significant impact on you?
Well, a specific moment, I don't know, but as I said, I used to like to study biology and chemistry, but when I started to study philosophy, sociology, I think I appreciate it because I could I don't know, to create a critical thought about society, and I think that's why it was my second option about my course, because I think this subject I don't know, makes me more critical. And I think more about it, and I like it this too. I think it could be this.
Perfect. The moment you started studying sociology, philosophy, those more human science things, right?
Yeah.
Nice. I love those. And I guess I didn't like so much when I was in school, but now that I am in college, I really like. So I don't have a lot of subjects that I need to study, but I choose to study like elective subjects, são matérias eletivas, só para saber mais, because I really like. So human science is something that I really like. So it's really good. I agree with you. So let's go to question number 3. If you could go back in time and choose a different school subject to study more extensively, which one would it be and why does it interest you now? So like all of those school subjects that you had, which one would you choose to study more and why? In my case, it would be sociology, just like Ayla mentioned, because when I was in school, I didn't like my teacher, my sociology teacher, and then I didn't like to study because I didn't like the teacher. And then nowadays, I don't have a sociology teacher, and I really like the subject, so I want to study that. And you, Hugo, if you could choose one, what would it be?
I don't know, because I never is a model student. I never like to study. Eu deixava to study the last day before the exam, so I don't.
How beautiful.
I'm gonna lie if I say if I studied another subject in the past, but because it's not.
You didn't like to study at all, right?
I like to learn new things, but not study for obligation like the subjects. But it's contradictory, but.
No, but I guess we could get it, right? You like to know things, but indeed it's boring for you, like to grab a book, a computer, and keep searching for answers that you need to answer, questions you need to answer, and it's boring. Yeah, I know that. So it makes sense. Perfect. And you, Ayla, if you could choose one, what would it be and why?
I think I don't know. I've never been good at a math. And it was terrible for me, but I think I created some boundaries to like math, and I only study to pass to take my test at a school, and I think I don't know why. Maybe because my math teachers, I create certo bloqueio. I don't know, and I would like to 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 have to study better math. Yeah.
Perfect. This is not a wise option because mathematics are so boring, né? Muito chato, but okay, I respect your opinion. And anyway, Oriana, if you could go back in time and choose one different subject, what would it be and why?
I like to study a lot to go back in time, but como é sempre mesmo, gente? But I sempre study, né? But I think math because we need it for life, né? I like it, but I believe it should have given a different emphasis, more foco. Deixa eu ver se eu conseguir falar certo. Eu gosto de matemática, só que eu acho que se eu tivesse dado mais foco no passado, teria melhor. Eu não gosto de estudar muito não, gente, mas a vida obriga a gente a estudar, né? Eu estudo muito, mas não gosto. Nem tudo que a gente faz é porque a gente gosta, porque precisa, né? Então, eu acho que se eu tivesse dado um foco melhor em matemática, eu não sei se é verdade, porque tudo na vida a gente precisa estudar sempre, é atualização. Mas eu acho que se eu tivesse dado um foco mais no passado, mais quando eu era adolescentezinha, hoje eu teria uma facilidade mais, entendeu? Seria mais tranquilo, mas é isso, seguimos lá.
Perfect. Okay. So I guess mathematics won, right? Because Ayla and Ariana would have studied more math. Hugo chose nothing. So it's that mathematics won. Okay. So let's go to question number 4. Now, by the way, I agree with you all. Like, studying is not a good thing. Like, it's good for you, but it's boring if you do that all the time. And mostly if it's not something that you do because you want, because you need. So it's boring. It's boring. So let's go to question number 4. Are there any school subjects that you found challenging or difficult to grasp? How did you overcome those difficulties? And what strategies did you use? So, for example, I was terrible at biology, just like I said. And then I remember that when I was in the first year of high school, I needed to study a lot of cellular biology, né? Dança da célula, and I needed to remember as organelas das células. And I don't remember the names. I always forgot the names. And then I created a song so I could remember. And every time I need to remember those things, I started to sing the names, and then later I remember because of the song. And then my teachers, they used to do that too. So like I copied their songs, I created my songs. So all my biology things was because of songs. I only got grades because of songs. Eu só pegava nota por causa das musiquinhas. Minhas, professores, qualquer um, de canal do YouTube. I needed the songs so I could remember the names. So that's it in my case. Ayla, are there any school subjects that you found challenging? How did you overcome those difficulties?
Yeah, there was a lot of subjects, but I think physics, it was, for me, is more difficult. I wasn't good at physics at all. And I think, in fact, I've never could overcome my difficulties in this subject, but I try to study hard and to ask for help, and it was terrible, and I don't know, but I was good. I wasn't good at math, and I think math, physics is together. There is some similar connections, yeah. And I think because that's why I I wanted to study more math.
Yeah, so you would be better in physics too, right?
Yeah.
But people say like physics is applied math, né? Física é matemática aplicada. At least my boyfriend says that. I don't know nothing about it, but I think it's like that, né? If you have difficulties in one, you're going to have difficulties in the other. That's true. And you, Oriana, are there any school subjects that you found challenging? How did you overcome those difficulties?
Similar, Ayla, né? Physical, né? I overcome the difficulty by study physical, study hard, study a lot. Gente, eu sou assim, eu tenho dificuldade, mas acabo fazendo tudo pro lado daquilo que eu tenho dificuldade, é incrível. Eu gostava muito de matemática, chegou uma época que ficou muito difícil para mim matemática, e era a época que eu tinha que entrar. Quando chegou física, as primeiras aulas maravilhosas, depois eu tive uma dificuldade muito grande em física. E my dad was teaching physics and math, my sister, só que mesmo assim eu tinha dificuldade. Só que estudando muito, eu venci isso, consegui passar. Mas foi ela, física realmente, apesar de andar junto com matemática, e apesar de eu gostar de matemática, física, gente, eu tive dificuldade.
I have some friends in college that they study physics and even they don't like physics.
Mas depois fica lindo,
Até quem estuda não gosta. It's really difficult. It's too difficult. More than it should be. É mais difícil escrever. So it's really boring.
Verdade.
Perfect. And you, Hugo, are there any school subjects that you found challenging? How did you overcome those difficulties?
For me, it's the opposite. It's Portuguese. I really have a great difficulty to grammar in Portuguese, in English. I don't work and I need to understand a subject based on rules. So, oração subordinada, que não funciona. Até hoje,
They are easy, Hugo. São fáceis.
In my mind, no, I don't understand. In the 5th grade, I need to go to reforço because that in mathematics, and in the past years in the school I start to manage I take them. Eu consegui as notas para passar. So and when I do the FUVEST exame, so the primeira. Faz tanto tempo que eu nem lembro, mas na primeira prova são todas disciplinas, né? Então passei daquele jeito. Na segunda era só as de humanas, né? Então foi mais fácil, tirando português que não tinha. So until today, to learn English based on grammar, for me don't work. So I need to understand, not the courage.
Yeah, but I guess grammar is a little bit difficult indeed. You need to like to understand, I guess, because like for me it was hard to understand grammar when I was younger. I didn't like it. And then when I started studying like better, I could understand some things. But also I think the way people explain grammar is totally wrong. Eu acho que o jeito que as pessoas explicam gramática, tanto em português quanto em inglês, é um jeito todo errado, gente. Because people don't understand. Like, there are a lot of people who leave school and they don't know the difference between do and does. So, like, it's something so simple. How can an English teacher don't teach that correctly? Né? Eu acho que um professor que não consegue ensinar isso direitinho, a diferença do do e do does, there's a problem there, né? Porque é uma coisa muito simples da gramática. So, I think the way it's taught, it's wrong, in my opinion.
I totally agree, because in that is 2000, so is cartilha, o professor escrevia a frase na letra, você ia fazendo um monte de chavinha embaixo, colocando a O, D, O, S, na minha cabeça já estava longe, assim. So.
Yeah, it's complicated, and in Portuguese it's even harder than in English, so I guess it's even worse. Applications in adult life and why? Eu travei, gente? Travei?
Travou.
Yes?
Voltou já.
Voltei? Okay. So, question number 5. In your opinion, which school subject do you believe has the most practical applications in adult life and why? I personally believe it's English. Like, I know mathematics are important, but I think English is even more because I think it's something that everybody needs nowadays. So, in my opinion, it would be English. And you, Oriana, which school subject do you believe has the most practical applications?
In my opinion, I believe the Portuguese and math. Eu vou falar em português. Português e matemática, que eu acredito que a gente tem mais aplicações para a vida. Eu acho que tudo gira em torno. Né? As outras matérias não são tanto, mas a pergunta é que tem mais. Meu pai, ele falava assim que era pai português e mãe temática, né? E na faculdade, eu tinha um professor de elétrica que ele falava que... Não, era um professor de cálculo. Que ele falava que realmente português e matemática para a vida toda. E para a gente saber a matemática, a gente tem que ser bom em português. Porque se a gente não entende o português, se a gente não consegue interpretar um texto, se a gente não consegue entender, a gente jamais vai conseguir interpretar a matemática, porque tudo gira em torno. E isso é verdade. Então, in my opinion, it's português e math, né? I believe that most practical application in adult life.
Perfect. I guess that's why people put so much emphasis in those two subjects. Né? São o que mais tem ênfase, né? Português and mathematics, because you need to deal with them your entire life. Né? Tem que vai ter que lidar a vida inteira. That's it. And you, Hugo, what do you think? Which school subjects do you believe has the most practical applications?
I agree. I think Portuguese, most of the text interpretation, because nowadays I saw people, when I think in the fake news, sometimes that is fake, but people can't understand that. And another subject is scientific thinking. When I learned studied to do science, but the research process. I saw that new. How I can check if this valid or not? Não, esqueci. Não acreditar logo de cara, assim. I think it's that perpassa todas as disciplinas, aprender a pensar criticamente, sim. But I think today's we learn that in the university, not the school. I think that's a problem.
Yeah, and this is a huge problem. I have an opinion about that I think that when we are born thinking critically, because kids always ask why all the time, right? And then when we grow up, we forget that, right? We stop asking why, and we shouldn't stop asking why. We need to know why things happen. And when we see some fake news, when we see some anything that we can believe or not, we should think, why? Could that be true? Could that be a lie? Why would that happen? I think it's really important for us to think why. It's a really important question. So I totally agree with you, Hugo. And people emphasize that only in college. O pessoal só fala disso na faculdade. Na escola, se falar isso, você está doutrinando a criança. Então, assim, it's weird, right? So, Hugo, não consegui te ouvir, que você está mucado. But I don't know. I can imagine what you said.
Yes, doutrina, parece que você está pensando criticamente, não, você tem que ter o cabreço lá e olhar só para frente. Só que você forma uma geração que não é crítica, né?
That's true.
Isso é independente de ideologia política, né? Para os dois lados.
Of course, that's true. I totally agree with you. And you, Ayla, in your opinion, which school subject has the most practical applications in adult life?
I agree with you said about the math Portuguese. Portuguese, I think it's so important, and if I can speak another language, it means I understand better my native language, because there is I don't know, how can I say, é como se fosse um código, uma estrutura. If you know about the structures of the Portuguese, I think it's for you easier to understand the other language structures. I think it's so important. And math that is in everything. Yeah, everything. I think it's so important. I remember when I did public tender, concurso público, and I noticed how good when we dominated to the math, and because a maior pontuação, I don't know, and it could be, it could do the difference if you, for you to get a position, I think, yeah.
No, I could get your point, and I agree with you. And by the way, there are a lot of people that says that in English they understood a rule, a grammar rule, and they don't understand in Portuguese. So maybe we can use English to explain that. And this happened with me. I didn't know presente indicativo, porque no nome, assim, o que a gente sabe que é presente indicativo? No, I don't know. And then my teacher explained to me that presente indicativo was present simple. And in English, there's a much better name, né, que é presente simples. And then when we understand the rules in both languages, it's even easier. Se a gente entende uma, é muito mais fácil de entender na outra, porque se associa, né? We can do this association. So I totally agree with you. That's true. And people say that a lot in my college. So let's go to question number 6. Reflecting on your academic journey, are there any school subjects that you feel didn't receive enough emphasis or attention? If so, which ones and why do you think they should have been given more importance? So one school subject that was like forgotten and you think they should have more emphasis. So in my opinion, it'll be philosophy or sociology, because I remember that when I was in school, I had only one class of this per week, and I had 5 math classes. I'm not saying that math is not important, but I think other subjects are also important. So I think we can have a balance, because I could only see my teacher like once a week during 15 minutes, and the math teacher, I saw them all the time. So I think they should put more emphasis in those subjects. And you, Hugo, what do you think should have more emphasis? Hugo, you're muted.
When you say philosophy, I agree, because when the school is one class on week or 2, but it's that discipline like no one's like. It's like I think it's like the professor, because philosophy for adults and the young is very different words. So why you bring the interest to the subjects. And today, I think is the technology, learn to program some things for the youngs, because the things changes very fast. So I think it's important subjects. And the university in geography, there's more because the FFLASH is in the philosophy university in geography don't have a technology formation, but most of the jobs in geographies all go to the schools or work in geo process or make cartography. We need to understand technology and programs. But this is a question and a problem. Not a problem, but in Flash, another universities don't have that vision. So.
I guess for every profession, it's important for you to know at least a few things about technology. There are a lot of people that are graduating in college and they don't even know how to use Excel. So I think like it's an important thing. It's easier for your life, right? It can make things easier. So I agree with you. Perfect. And you, Ayla, what do you think should have more emphasis and it didn't have?
I totally agree what you said about the philosophy. sociology. And because it's so important to for students to create their own thought, to create a critical thought, and don't to be only a passive student. It's so important to create a thoughtful student. I don't know, estudantes pensantes. I don't and I think it's so important, because when we become adult, you start to notice you. In my case, I don't receive a formation, formation that I could to handle about the society issues, and I think it's no good when we become adult and you don't have at least a basic formation about your society, about the politics, and other issues, and to create a good conscious awareness, consciência, a better awareness, uma consciência melhor about the society issues. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's true. And we can only know that if we study, right? Now, sociology, philosophy, because people saw that there are a lot of problems that we have nowadays that people saw in the past, and the problems are still here. So people need to think about that, right? I totally agree with you, Ayla. Perfect. And you, Oriana, what do you think should have more emphasis and it didn't have?
I think English and Química I think give more importance, because it is... Eu achei que era muito fraco o conteúdo, em inglês principalmente. Na minha época ainda não existiam as escolas com aula, né, de informática, hoje em dia já tem computador. Então, se tivesse, eu acredito que seria importante dar uma ênfase, mas na minha época não existia. Isso eu acho que veio de uns 10 anos para cá. Já vai eu revelando a minha idade, né? Mas aí sim que English, gente, Inglês era quase nada de conteúdo, né, praticamente. É só verbo to be. E Química também. Se leram o conteúdo.
Perfect. And why do you think they are important?
Yeah.
Não, mas por que você acha que eles são importantes?
Tá. Because in English I need for life, né? In Brazil, it's difficult. Because the course of English is very expensive, né? Não está disponível para todas as pessoas, né? Então, eu acredito que se a gente... Vou falar em português, gente, me desculpa. Eu acredito que se a gente tivesse o costume de estudar inglês desde pequenininho, se tivesse uma ênfase maior desde o primário, não só na quinta série, verbo to be, e tinha escola que era para ser da quinta à oitava, tinha escola que nem tinha. Sexta, sétima, eu acho que eu tive na quinta, na sexta não teve, aí na sétima a escola colocou de novo, e era aquela matéria que se faltasse a gente não reprovava, não... Entendeu? E, tipo assim, o Brasil tinha que ser bilíngue igual aos outros países. A gente tinha que estudar, pelo menos, o inglês como o segundo idioma, uma matéria obrigatória. Então, eu acredito que por isso ele teria que ter... E a Química, porque também é uma área que lá no futuro a pessoa pode seguir e o conteúdo era muito fraco, muito baixo. Você vai pegar uma matéria de Química na faculdade e você vê, nossa, essas coisas tudo que eu não vi, Então, eu acredito que teria que ter uma ênfase maior também em química, mas aquele negócio, nem todo mundo quer seguir para o ramo de química, então, de certa forma, para quem não segue nesse ramo, não sente falta, né? Mas o inglês, eu acredito que, independente da área que a pessoa vai seguir, ele é necessário. O inglês, ele está em todos, então...
Yeah, that's true. I totally agree with you. And that's why in the beginning I said that English for me is the most important subject. I didn't think it was, não pensava que era, não. But nowadays I think that schools should emphasize that more often. Because I have already worked in regular schools, né? And then I saw that if there weren't an English teacher for kids, there was no problem. Se não tivesse professor de inglês para criança, não tinha problema. Agora, se não tivesse professor de matemática, tinha um problema. So, like, it doesn't make any sense in my head that put as an important subject as English only, like, hidden. Não tem que esconder a matéria, tem que mostrar. We need to show kids, since the beginning, the first levels, we need to show them. Porque quando mais cedo você mostra, mais fácil para a criança é ela aprender e crescer bilíngue. A lot of countries, they are lettered in English. As crianças são alfabetizadas em inglês também, não apenas na língua materna. Em Portugal, por exemplo, kids, they learn English and Portuguese. So people should do that more often, I guess, in schools, because here in Brazil, it's terrible. And the English learning in public schools is terrible, muito ruim. And not only because of the teachers, but because of the system, né? Por causa do sistema. Muito aluno inventa sala de aula, é uma loucura, gente. Craziness. So, guys, because of our time, let me stop the live on YouTube. Vou parar aqui nossa live.